Let me save you months of Googling or chatting with ChatGPT if you're switching into cybersecurity, especially if you are a veteran. Because Security Plus is the certification that is the most standardized that you will need to get your foot in the door and get hired into cybersecurity. Now, what's the problem? The problem is not that cybersecurity is too complex to understand, because there is a lot of things in cybersecurity that you've already done as a veteran. And I will get into it specifically what that is and some of the translation that you can use. But essentially, the recruiters don't normally speak military jargon. So you have to translate risk management, access control, and encryption from your military jargon of CACCAR and getting to base kind of thing into the acronyms that cyber uses. And this is where Security Plus comes into play, because it's the first certification that actually lays out and is the most standardized, kind of like Cert that is required in a lot of entry-level jobs. And you will see that the Security Plus is going to give you the domains and lay things out for you so that you understand what cybersecurity is. It's kind of like the ABCs of cybersecurity. So that is why Security Plus. Now, here is a resume hack. Maybe something that veterans haven't thought about before or have never been talked about before. If you grab the Security Plus domains and you look at what each of them are and you map that to your evaluations, you will see a lot of overlap, right? For example, I alluded to risk management. As a cybersecurity engineer, I have to do a lot of risk management and figuring out the risk and giving it a score XYZ. Now, that translates directly into the military because I have done risk management before. It didn't have to do with vulnerabilities and scanning, but it had to do with assessing the risk of people coming in out of the embassy. For example, I was a Marine security guard stationed overseas, and I had to make sure that when people were coming in and out of the embassy, they didn't leave with classified information. So I had to assess the risk all the time. I had a CCTV that relates directly to cybersecurity. And it's shocking that there's a lot of the things that I did for physical security, which is one of the domains, that deal directly with cybersecurity and understanding how things are protected. And you have to, because you went into base, you have a CAC card, an ID that has encryption in it. It has a PKI in it, and they scan it to give you access control into the base. Encryption, PKI on your card. All of these things you are exposed to. You had to take OPSEC training. You had to do a lot of things, and you do a lot of things in the military that relate directly to cybersecurity. So it's just a matter of understanding where you are and what you have done that maps directly into cyber. So that's what I would say when you are rewriting your resume, or where you are feeding your resume into ChatGPT and giving it these prompts of, I was in the military, this is what I did, this is how I did it, and then you list all of that, and then you grab and you say, layer that on with the Cybersecurity Plus domains, and it'll spit out exactly how that maps, and that could open your eyes, literally. I had a conversation with an IT help desk, and I was explaining to this individual that his job also maps to cybersecurity because he deals with endpoint security, right? And if you know anything about cyber, you know that you have to protect your endpoints. You have to protect your phones. You have to protect the computers, you have to protect endpoints, their security awareness. So I was alluding to earlier, as a veteran in the military, OPSEC training that you had to do, that's cybersecurity awareness that you had to do. There's an actual cybersecurity awareness training that we have to take in the veteran world. And then when I was talking to this IT person, I was telling him he's a help desk, he has to deal with password, he has to deal with uh, uh, backups. That's part of cyber. Like, all of these things are cyber that people don't see how it matches. And like I said, veterans have a leg up because we deal with so much in the military. You've heard the terms loose lips sink ship, right? You don't want to give out information. So that's social engineering. You're giving out information, or somebody trying to get information out of you, that's social engineering. That ties back to, again, cybersecurity, social engineering, phishing emails, all of that stuff. You see how everything is like tied together? I could go on and on and on about this because it's exciting for me. And I hope that it is exciting for you if you are thinking about transitioning or doing this transition from whatever job or getting out of the military and going into it, because it does map so beautifully. And funding. So you don't have to necessarily pay for training to take Security Plus. What you should do is go into either your GI Bill or VET TEC and find out if they pay for the voucher as well as their training. There is free training for veterans out there, and there's also paid vouchers for veterans out there. You just have to figure out which organization and that it is actually legit. Make sure it's legit. I don't want you to go to any bogus things or anything like that. Now, I'm going to give you a 4-week plan for you to study for Security Plus. It isn't a deep exam, right? So 2 weeks, I want you to take and study content. And then 2 weeks, I want you to just take the practice test. Do flashcards, do drills, repeat, so you can understand this new acronym, so you can understand the terminology, so you can understand how to protect things, what it is, what it means. I also want you to get into the networking. Right? So the certification is a check in the box, and it gets your resume viewed because you got the certification, but it doesn't necessarily get you the job. You need networking. You need experience. And when we're talking about experience, it doesn't have to be paid experience. It could be something that you build. It can be, again, some internship that you have done. Those are all experience in cybersecurity. And you're going to want to have that along with your network. If you network correctly, someone will be willing to give you a shot because you're a Marine, because you were in the Army, because you're in the Navy. I'm a Marine, so of course, that's why I said that first. So those are the things that I'm trying to tell you. Leverage your network. Understand who they are. Talk to them. Because I've talked to a lot of people, a lot of veterans transitioning into cyber, and just the mere conversation of their knowing that there is a big umbrella and that there is different things that you can do, like GRC or AI governance that is under GRC, or you can do pen test. There's different things that you can do within cyber that if you talk to someone, to your network, and they know someone, they're like, hey, I heard of this entry job position for an IT help desk. That's your way in the door. And like I told the IT person, you have people, because he had a job. He was an IT help desk. You have people around you. Leverage that. Leverage your network 1000%, and build your community. Things like my Latinas, because I am Latina. My Latinas, there's Latinas in Cyber, and I am part of Latinas in Cyber. I'm the director of expansion, and there is a lot of programs that are offered for free. There is resources, and we are all encompassing. It doesn't have to just be Latinas. It doesn't have to be just women. We are welcoming of all people. So with that being said, there is resources out there that are free for you to be able to get into this field, is if this is something that you really, really want. So leverage those connections, leverage those nonprofits like Latinas in Cyber. So why don't you tell me what branch you are in, and tell me what part of cyber you're trying to get into in the comments below. If you found this helpful, I would really appreciate a thumbs up. It helps the algorithm figure itself out. And share this with someone that you think can use this information. I'll catch you guys on the next one.